All right, welcome back, everyone. We are playing some Jirina Kudro. Get over to the magic screen here. Yeah, all right. One moment while we finish setting some stuff up. All right, got those links sent out. Take a look at this opening hand. Let's see what our opponents are playing. We got Amiri the Cursed, Sweet, Mangara, and Kess, Dissident Mage. Let's see. This is going to make all three colors of mana that we need. That's good. That's helpful. Windbrisk Heights should be reasonable. Okay, I think this hand is good enough. We'll go ahead and keep. So yeah. I'm excited to be playing Jirina Kudro today. This is one that I've been meaning to get to for a little while. Barely had a chance to play any of the new stuff. This is kind of my first foray into some of the more recent commanders that have come out. Feels like there's been 4 sets since Jirina's actually come out, but it's only been like 2 or 3 months. What does our commander do? I'm glad you asked. So, it's 1 in Marduk for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token for each time you've cast it from the command zone, and other humans you control get +2/+0. +2/+0 is a really good anthem. That takes things from like not that impactful, aka 1/1, up to 3/1. 3/1s matter. That is an amount of damage that is relevant in combat and an amount of damage that opponents will feel if they're not blocking with anything. So 3/1s can trade with a lot of stuff. Jirina looks pretty cool. I've seen some other people play it. I just haven't had the chance to play it myself. But there's an Elixir of Immortality for opponent, sure. But yeah, I'm excited about this. The deck list that I'm playing today is not fully tuned. I just grabbed a Jirina list online from somewhere and then kind of edited it to my own liking. The list that I was looking at, or the list that I started with 25 3-drops. I'm like, that's not going to work. That's not for me. That's not how I like to operate my decks. Nothing to do on turn 1 here, so we just drop down the Windbrisk Heights, see if there's anything cool we can put under there. But as far as the deck, it's still a little removal light. I'm kind of just testing a lot of things out. Got a lot of creatures in the deck still. Those are some cool cards. Fiend Hunter is nice because it's removal, and you never know when you're going to need removal. But Panharmonicon and Cathar's Crusade are game changers. Ew. I'm going to say the Cathar's Crusade. That's the one that can kind of put us over the hump, I think. So we'll put these other ones to the bottom, even though they are pretty good. Path of Ancestry is cool, too. Going to miss that one a little. And, we'll pass like that. But yeah, this deck, not fully tuned. Grabbed the deck online real quick. Spent maybe 10 minutes just kind of editing it to my own liking, getting more mana, especially more mana ramp in there. That's the big one. You can live without removal sometimes. I'm not saying don't run removal, but like if you're ramping and being proactive, that can sometimes overcome not running enough removal where not ramping is bad for pretty much everything. So you won't be able to cast your creatures, you won't be able to cast your removal, etc., etc. So yeah, still more things to do in this deck, but I did want to try out some new stuff. We got this Idol of Endurance, someone mentioned in the chat. And this is my first time playing it, so hopefully we get a good look at it today. Hopefully it doesn't get wheeled out of our hand. There's a Kess at the table, so Kess, not a stranger to wheels, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd like to get a look at it, see how it goes. Can you guys hear the thunder, by the way? There's a really bad storm going on outside. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, but other than that, excited to be here. Should be a fairly chill game today. Opponents asked what we were playing. I said probably about a 6, maybe. May even be a little generous at a 6. Again, no removal. So we'll see how it goes. Witch's Cauldron coming down. Yeah. Sacrifice a creature, gain a life, and draw a card. Yeah. Decent. Any black card that says gain a life and especially with draw a card stapled to it, it's reasonable. Probably has a home somewhere, because black will burn its own life total super quickly. There is not a list for that Jirina deck currently. I just threw it together super fast. If I was able to multitask at all, I could post it up online for you, but I'm not a great multitasker. I'll take a peek over at it a second. Oh my god, I can't talk. I'll take a peek at it in a second, though. Let's see. So we draw a Smoldering Marsh. 2 or more basics, huh? Gonna be a minute on that. Thalia's Lieutenant is like not the best 2-drop to lead on. It's kind of awkward, right? So whenever another human enters battlefield you control, put a +1 on. Yeah, I might just hold off on that one. That being the case, I guess get this Smoldering Marsh in tapped. There's no other 2-drops, right? Yeah, I'm going to hold back that Thalia's Lieutenant. That's not really a 2-mana kind of play for me. Also, none of our opponents came out of the gate super quickly here with Soul Rings or Mana Crypts or anything, so we can chill for a second. Don't need to go super wild. I do have a Patreon. It is patreon.com/commanderreplay. You can check it out if you like. Available to Patreon members is the Discord chat, and I'm usually in there a few times a day, so if you want to ask me stuff, chit-chat. Most of the kind of communication that I have with people is through Discord, so it's a great way to get in touch with me. There's some other stuff too, though. The Legendary Angel tier, I play deck lists once a month from those Patreons. The Sky Knight tier and above, I do monthly digital hangouts, so we'll get in a Discord chat and just kind of chat about the new stuff. I do those once a month, and it seems like there's a new set coming out once a month, so it usually just kind of happens to be chatting about whatever spoilers are happening. But yeah, if you want to just kind of be in contact with a really cool community and myself, you can definitely check out the Patreon. Some stuff happening while I'm chatting. Scour all possibilities for opponent. They scry 2, then draw a card. It has flashback. Interesting card. Haven't seen it a lot, but if you're in a deck that likes to do cantrippy style things, it's certainly worth a look. And we got Impassioned Orator coming into play. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. So, bad Soul Sisters, basically. Read the Bones for opponent. Soul Sisters copy number, 3 or 4? Depending on what you count the first 4 copies to be. Yeah, that's one thing that this deck's missing too, is some card draw. It's definitely going to need a bit more card draw than it has. This deck is one of those go wide style decks, like go wide tribal, and I'm like, ugh. It's kind of a style of play that I've gotten away from a bit. They are hard. I guess, yeah, let's peek over at the deck list. Let's see if I can get over there super quickly. There we are. So one of the things with go wide tribal style decks is that you have to run a lot of creatures. I got the creature count down to 25. It started at 30 whenever I imported the deck. So, but the problem is you need a lot of creatures in play, which really eats up the deck slots for your mana ramp and removal. And it's hard to have all of that stuff. Plus the fact that a lot of these low-cost humans are not super impactful on their own, so you do need things like Vanquisher's Banner. You probably want a Coat of Arms, Door of Destinies. I've got some extra combats in here because I don't like to leave home without those. I've got 2 of those, actually 3 with the Godo. Godo does require that everything else has Vigilance, although I don't know that I have a Vigilance source in the deck, so maybe need to work on that a little bit. But yeah, so when you have these low-cost, go-wide, tribal-style decks, the creatures themselves tend to need a lot of help, so you see an Elish Norn up there. And it just eats up a lot of deck slots, which means you never really get to run as much removal. as I like to. And in some sense, I think a lot of these decks kind of get pushed into the more casual settings just because you can't run like 100 removal spells and 40 ramp spells while you're having to try to maintain probably 25 or more creatures in the deck. The exclusion there being green decks, because green can get a lot of removal out of its creatures. Most of the other colors aren't able to do that in the same way. So anyway, there was a quick peek at the deck. But again, I put the ramp in, still probably a little removal light. But got some board wipes in the deck at the top end, kind of the one-sided ones, which are cool. Anyway, taking my sweet little time right here. Let's get the Hainware Battlements into play. Got red mana already. Let's get this Plains going. And drop in the Hainware Battlements. Did I say Battlements? Hainware Garrison. That one. And after that, we will pass the turn like that. Just tuned in. Are we winning yet? No, everything's about even. It's turn 3 right now. No one's really run away with mana ramp, so that's always cool. Starting the game on a even ground is always nice. I know I reference it a lot, but like, what was it, 2017 when Wizards started their 1v1 commander format online where they banned all the fast mana? And it was interesting playing in a format where no one can just come out with mana crypt on turn 1 and, you know, follow it up with like 2 signets. The game starts fair. Like, you're not like, oh wow, it's turn 2 and I'm behind because I didn't play 4 mana rocks. It's a really nice feeling. Just kind of being able to chill, just cast some things that, like, you don't have to be like, I need to get ahead of this player right now or I need to catch up to them. Yeah, I like it. Sometimes it's nice to play chill commander. Am I on Twitch? I am not on Twitch yet. I will be making the leap to Twitch sometime soon. I've been kind of just using like YouTube as a testing ground, kind of get my feet wet, figure out what I'm doing stream-wise. So yes, the stream will also be available later as a regular video, obviously not edited. So, you know, all the dead space will still be in there. But yeah, you can check this thing out later if you want. Usually I post them like the next day just because it takes a little bit of wrangling to get all the settings just right. How did I feel about your Nekusar list? Did I see your Nekusar list? I see and talk a lot of Magic, so it's hard for me to remember the things I'm looking at. Everything's kind of like in one ear, out the other. If I'm not looking at it right now, I'm probably forgotten about it. Chat says, I've done a lot of testing with Jirina, and I think it's really powerful as far as Lords go, but I think my favorite partner commanders... But you think your favorite is the partner commanders that come with it. Yeah, I've been meaning to test those out as well. But I don't know. I've just had a hankering to play some Jirina lately. Like I said, I think a 2-0 Anthem is just really powerful. You put a 2-0 Anthem on anything, and people are going to start to feel that a bit. Let's see. Miri into play. Doesn't attack. I would have attacked something. It's got haste. One of the few black cards that have haste on it. It's also got flying. Pretty cool card. A card I've always liked. Have I talked about opponents yet? Oh, man, I got to do that in a minute. All right. Well, we'll do that in a second. We draw a Godless Shrine. Let's play a Godless Shrine. I guess we don't have to. We can play the Exotic Orchard right here. I think we're just going to get our commander. Seems like the plan. So, cast Jirina. How risky do I think is it to attack into the Mangaro with open mana with this Hainware Garrison? We'll chance it. So Jirina ETBs. We're going to get a 1 token. Whew. Hainware Garrison becomes a 4-3. Wow. Yeah. 2-0 Anthem on your commander. What? Pretty sweet. Oh, we got NTG Mudsta in the house. What up, Andrew? Chop down. Oh, no. Well, looks like we're not going to find out. Opponent did have an answer for our Hainware Garrison. That makes me sad. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater as a 3-mana instant, and then it can tap stuff on the creature half. Kind of wish the creature half was a little bit more impactful. It's not that it's like awful, maybe just like bigger stats. If they made it like a 2/3 or 3/4, that'd be pretty cool. Maybe cut the mana cost one. Maybe do like 1 colorless or 1. 2 in tap. Feels like a lot on a 1/2. Interesting nonetheless, but a card that could potentially go in this deck as it is a human. Have I considered making a deck for the Conquest format? I don't even know what the Conquest format is, but I think you're explaining it in the second half of the sentence. Is an EDH variant where fast mana, fetch lands, and all reserveless cards are banned. That sounds interesting. No, I haven't played Conquest at all. Would certainly be an interesting experiment. As cool as an idea as that is, there are just like reserveless cards that I like. Not that they're necessarily broken. Some of them are broken, but sounds interesting though. Definitely sounds interesting. Would I give up the like small handful of reserveless cards in order to like not get mana crypted and soul ringed into oblivion in the first 2 turns of the game? That sounds like a pretty interesting trade-off. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna lose a couple cards I want to play, but I don't have to worry about like just automatically being behind on turn. If you're last in the turn order and that first player drops Mana Crypt Signet, you're just like, wow, I'm like 4 turns behind this player. That's a terrible feeling. I don't like that feeling one bit. And when that happens, like you're usually so far behind that you have to rely on your other opponents to have removal and slow that player down, unless you yourself have a Mana Crypt. So, yeah, I would love to not have to go through that feeling as often as I have to go through that feeling. Dread Presence into play, drops a swamp, or drops a land. Is it land or swamp? Whenever a swamp enters the battlefield. They're going to draw a card, lose a life. Yeah, going for the value. Sweet. Pumpkin Swift, was your Nekusar the deck that one that I played last year sometime? If so, that was the Nekusar deck that like I had trouble getting on the same page as that deck. Most of the Nekusar decks that I've seen are just like wheels into oblivion. That one operated a little bit differently. I know there was like the Infect Glistening Oil combo in there, and I would just need to play it more, quite honestly. Like I'm just not... I've seen like the basic Nekusar builds, but as far as like, I'll call that an off-meta Nekusar build. Not something I'm like well suited for. Would need to play it more to really get a good feel on it. But the one thing that I find myself saying to most people deck lists that I look at is like more ramp, more removal. In my experience, Nekusar decks tend to be a bit light on removal just in general, which I think is maybe not like the best way to go with that. But if you're wheeling all the time too and drawing a bunch of extra cards, cheap removal, drop it in there, shoot your opponent's stuff, don't lose the game. Brings it back to our turn. Still no attacks from this Miri, man. Opponent's got to be getting in there. I'd be attacking stuff left and right. Maybe they're just waiting until they get some equipments on it, but yeah, if there's ever a thing that says you want to attack stuff, although I guess Miri's a really good blocker, so when it deals combat damage to a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Miri. Yeah, maybe they're trying to just leave up the blocks. I get it. But, so enticing to attack stuff. We draw an Ancient Tomb. That's a little bit of mana ramp. Mana ramp is good. That would give us 6 mana. What can we do with 6? We could go like Odric Thalia's Lieutenant. That doesn't sound awful. Or Fireflux Squad and Thalia's Lieutenant. Let me give this one the old read again. When it attacks, you may exile another target attacking creature you control. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking, the rest on the bottom in a random order. Yeah. That seems pretty good, right? Maybe we hold off on the Thalia's Lieutenant. Like, don't really have like that many creatures on the battlefield. I don't know. Or maybe, do we have enough to go? I think we have enough to drop the Windbrisk Heights, and although we need 3 attacking creatures, we will have 3 attacking creatures. Yeah, okay, now we got a plan. Now we've got a plan. Drop this Ancient Tomb. Cast this Fireflux Squad. We need a single red. Here's another card I've been looking to test out. Fireflux Squad. I keep talking about like Boros 4-drops being really, really crowded. This is another one. Looks like it's got a lot of promise. Opponent waiting. There it is. So Fireflux finally resolves, and yeah, now we go to a combat with 3 creatures. Wow, it's a 6/3. Well, Kith is going to get a little bit of damage for shooting our creature that I badly wanted. I never am able to keep this thing alive. I get it, like, it's pretty good, but it just dies at a super high rate. Just never get to use it. Super disappointing. 6/3. Opponent could kill it in combat. Don't love that. Would they kill our commander? Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to go over there. You know what, though? I doubt. They're probably not throwing Mangara under the bus. Unless they have a board wipe, then they would, right? All right. Sorry, KO. Everything going your way, because our other attacks don't make a lot of sense unless... All right, so if we go to combat, we're going to get a trigger. Then we Windbrisk Heights. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll send the token at Kithron. There we go. And we'll still say sorry to KO, because it's probably going to feel this a bit. Go to combat. Fireflux Squadron trigger. Put that on the token. In response to that, activate this Windbrisk Heights. I don't get to use Windbrisk Heights very often. I don't play like a ton of go-wide decks anymore. So this is super exciting. Reminds me of Shards of Alara Standard. We can cast the Exile card. Where... Oh, there it is. Cast the Exile card. Mangara will get to draw a card because it is the second spell we've cast. We'll wait for that to resolve. Use the Fireflux Squad ability on this token. Excited about this. Choose a player or planeswalker. What's this say again? Exile another target. If you do reveal cards from top of your library until you reveal a creature card, what do we reveal? Mentor of the Meek, not the most exciting thing that could have been. Sorry, KO, no blockers, and the other things. Next turn we can go elsewhere because of the Cathar's Crusade, but this turn, got to play it safe. So in comes the Mentor of the Meek, one of our few card draw sources, so I hope we don't get board wiped this turn. Say sorry to KO. Really wanted to attack Kith for blowing up my thing. Still in blocks right here. It's turn 5. We did not hit a mana rock. We hit the, turn 5 Ancient Tomb. And we just hit KO for like 18. That's pretty strong. That's like not a joke. That's really nice power. So KO goes down to 22, and we'll pass like that. Pretty big swing. Questions from chat. How do I feel about Mangara? Mangara is really cool. I haven't played it myself, but Kithron's been piloting this Mangara deck a lot, so I've seen it there. It can draw cards like crazy. His first build of it, he really kind of focused in on the card draw aspect of it, and just, I don't know, he was like 20 or 30 cards ahead of us most of the game. So that's really cool. You can focus on the lifelink and the life gain portions of it as well. I've seen a lot of Soul Sisters kind of stuff with it, which certainly works. But it's cool because it doesn't force you in that direction either. Like, it's certainly a good thing to do, but it's not the only thing that you can do with it if you want to do like other mono white type of things. I really just want to find a deck for a Protector of the Crown, and Mangara seems like a reasonable home to do something like that. So yeah, it's a really cool card. I need to play it a bit more myself to kind of get a feel on like, where does that deck struggle? Where does that card struggle? Still trying to do some testing with Aurelia, just kind of the Boros aggro stuff, see how it performs in there. Didn't get a chance to slot it into this deck. Again, I didn't spend super long putting the deck together. Just kind of copy and pasted something, made a couple quick changes, just so it was a little bit more comfortable to what I like to do. But yeah, no, it's a good card. It's a good card. If you have white decks, you should buy some copies. I think it's a mythic, which I don't love. You know, if it really stands the test of time, like right now, it's still kind of got that new feeling to it, so it's exciting and all that. But I think over the course of time, I don't imagine this thing will drop too much because there just aren't a lot of white cards that say draw. So short of them printing more of those, I think it's going to maintain some value. But while that was happening, Kess comes into play. I think there was a Ponder that happened, or they flashed it back from the graveyard. Ooh, Authority of the Consuls. No more hasty fun stuff. And opponent will gain life like crazy. That's all a thing. Swords the Fireflux squad. That is unfortunate because, well, I get it, there's still an Authority, but I was thinking about this Odric Lunarch Marshal next, which would have been super cool. Would have been super, super cool with the haste and all the stuff. So, mono white control, starting to do control things, and we are down a creature. Makes me sad. It's kind of a shame that Hero Bladehold doesn't make humans. Bad for this deck, great for Winota. So it just depends on which commander you're wanting to run. I think Winota is a really interesting design in that, like, I feel like it was very, what's the word I want? Like, calculated that they chose the non-human human thing, because there are actually a lot of white cards that produce non-humans that are humans themselves, which, like, that's never a thing that I don't think anyone thought about before that card was designed. So that all seemed very calculated and very cool to me. So it just depends on the commander you want to run. I'd probably still run Hero Bladehold in this deck anyway, just because I like it a lot. It's just a card that I really enjoy. I get it. It doesn't make humans. To say humans only. It does say humans only, but Battle Cry is really good, and stuff like Cathar's Crusade, things that impact all of your creatures, are still going to be good with Hero Bladehold. So it's not that you can't run it. Maybe not going to get as much value as, like, you know, you hope. You're going to lose a teeny bit, but still a really cool card and just a great card. I'd probably still run it anyway. Brings back to our turn. There's a Hainware Battlements. Let's get that into play in case of wheels and things like that. We should probably draw the cards this turn. That's a thing that we should be doing. So let's see. That puts us on 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. If we draw with Odric, that'd be 5 mana. It's going to come in tapped, which isn't the most exciting. Probably the only real play we're making this turn, but I think that's like a good enough play that could be kind of sweet. Didn't really work out the keywords yet for this, but it's just generally good. So yeah, I think that's the plan. Just cast Odric. And we'll skip the Ancient Tomb this turn, try to preserve our life total just a teeny bit. We are up to 45, but, you know, people start getting aggressive. No need to put yourself down to 20 just because you keep tapping Ancient Tomb every turn, but I don't think it's time yet on this idol. I'd like to see the first board wipe go off first. Kith does play some board wipes. There's probably about 4 or 5 in the deck. That will trigger Authority of the Consuls and Cathar's Crusade as Odric comes in. Opponent will gain a life. And our stuff will get bigger. A 6/4, you say? This I want to keep protected a little bit. Go to combat, get the Odric trigger, but no keywords. I'm going to send Jirina over to Zombie. There's some chance that he blocks, and if he blocks, we can do some cool stuff on our next turn by recasting Jirina, because that'll give us 2 tokens, and that'll trigger Cathar's Crusade, and that's all really good stuff. Opponent could trade both for the Mentor. I don't want to do that. So that's just going to stay put. I told KO I wouldn't attack him, even though that's an open attack right there. He took the punishment last turn just for not having blockers. Typically, if there's someone that doesn't have blockers, it's probably the blue deck, the deck that's like heavily blue. The heavily green deck usually's got some mana dorks out there, some other things that kind of get in the way. Deranged Hermit, is that the one that makes squirrels? Which one is that? Someone says, the majority of these fix-it formats aren't as good as people think they are. I haven't played many of them myself, like... really, I don't get to play any other formats of Magic anymore. I used to love drafting. I was a standard guy, maybe 10 years ago. But, since I've been doing channel stuff, it's really just kind of Commander all the time. But, I would love to draft. I would love to draft, like, some of the older sets. Triple Innistrad, my favorite. But Triple Cold Snap is also super awesome because it's really weird. It's just... The Ripple mechanic is dumb. There's some other dumb mechanics in that set. I talk about it a lot, but there was this one white deck that was just all 2-drops and like 8 Keldril War Cries, and I had a really good deck, and it just bowled me over because the mana efficiency of making your 2/2s like 6/6s is hard to beat. Stone Calendar, what? There's a card you don't see much of. Spells you cast cost up to 1 less to cast. There's going to be some spell nonsense out of Chaotix, I'm sure. Got Nate excited for the Humans deck in chat. Someone says they tried the Conqueror format and it was exceedingly fun and fair. That's cool. I like fun and fair Magic. I'm not a fan of like the current state of Magic. Kind of stepping outside of Commander, like Modern. What's going on in Modern is not at all for me. Isn't that like a turn 3 format now? I like casting 5-drops. I like creatures. I like casting bigger things. Casting, I don't know. I think everything in Modern's like a 1-drop now. It seems. It's just not the format for me. So yeah, I like fun and fair Magic, which is probably also why I like limited. You get to cast creatures that like are not the most overpowered, like pushed for constructed type of things. You're like, oh well, it's a 5-drop. It's reasonable. It does something when it comes in. It's good enough for this deck. I don't know. One of the things I didn't like when I was playing like competitive standard is like you see so few cards. Like you see the best cards and the best strategies out of each set, and then the other 80% of the set you never see. So that's kind of why I like drafting. Just like they make cool stuff that, like, sure, it's not the top level of power that is the most efficient like tournament win, but you still get to use cool things. Like I'm thinking about, what was the Ob Nixilis I looked at the other day? It's the 4/4 flyer one that when they search the library they have to sack something. Like that's a cool card for draft. Doesn't show up a lot of other places. Could be played in Commander, but doesn't show up that much. But that's a great card in draft. Well of Lost Dreams coming in for opponent. Yep. So we got more life gain action out of the Mangara. That'll be good when they untap with the Authority of the Consoles. Will be very, very good. Some people play EDH to explicitly play the busted rares from years past. I respect that. Yeah, that's a thing too. I'm actually, I don't love the power creep that much, but it's kind of a two-sided thing. Like, I really don't like combo, so like, I'd rather lose to powerful creatures than to powerful combos. And right now, creatures have been pushed so hard that, that's generally true. Like, yes, there are still very powerful combos out there, CEDH especially, but once you kind of step out of CEDH, like, there's so much incentive to play creatures now that I'd rather lose to creatures if I gotta lose to something. On that thought, I was kind of just thinking about it. Because things are so powerful, like there are many powerful things now, I find that I don't lose to the same thing over and over again anymore, which is also nice. Back in the day, it was just like lose to Tooth and Nail all the time because Tooth and Nail Craterhoof is just literally better than anything else that was happening. And like now the win conditions are much more varied, and I can really appreciate that. That is a Liliana Dreadhorde General. That's a nasty card. Opponent's going to make a 2/2 Black Zombie. At least they're not going the sack mode. Wasn't really prepared to sacrifice all of our stuff. But the sack mode does get them too. They've got this zombie now, and they've got a Blood Artist with the promo art in it in play. So, when things start getting sacked, that will do damage. And that's going to trigger the Well of Lost Dreams, sure. Nate says he hasn't seen a good Nekusar deck in years. Yeah, Nekusar is weird. I haven't seen someone that's like had a Nekusar deck that like they just like have focused, because everyone that had a Nekusar deck switched to other commanders. Like the Locust God kind of became the new Wheels commander. So like I haven't seen anyone that's like still playing Nekusar and has been tuning it for the last like 5 or 6 years, other than the one that I played. So yeah, I don't know. I should see what the most hardcore Nekusar deck I can possibly build is. Takes time though. You have to like play test a lot to do that stuff. Can't just like run that out there in one game. But anyway, it brings back to our turn. Door of Destinies. Yeah, Door of Destinies pretty good. Excuse me. So let's see. Let's get a land. I think we're gonna need all of our lands. It'll take 3 to get the Thalia's Lieutenant in. With the card draw, which we definitely want to do. And then it'll take 4, so 7 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 right now. We actually don't need the land just yet, so let's get the Thalia's Lieutenant in. It will come in tapped. No need for the haste land this turn. That's on the stack. So Thalia's Lieutenant. Oh god, we did that in the wrong order. No one saw that. No one saw that. Crap. That sucks. Whoops. Sequencing. Just glancing over at chat. Forgot what I was doing. Now we have to wait forever for all the triggers to resolve and can, think about our mistake more. Awesome. It's like, I just punted, please F6, so we can just move past the fact that I punted. Thalia's Lancer is going to put a counter on our other humans. Pretty cool. Oh, I forgot that Mentor doesn't trigger because they're all huge now. Oops. Well, no card draw for us. All right, well, opponent's going to see our misplay right here. We can use the Ancient 1, 2, 3. Yeah, just use the Ancient Tomb. And then we'll drop in one of the other lands tapped. Our team's getting pretty big. We've got a 7/7, an 8/6, and an 8/6. That seems pretty good. I am thinking that Mentor of the Meek, it's a human. It's not my favorite card because, like, in the decks that want it, the first thing you want to do is pump those creatures up, and then you can't. Oops. Then you can't use Mentor of the Meek with them, and that's a thing that I've had come up before. Choosing humans. Again, not saying don't run it, but like, you know, take stock of what your deck is doing. Like if it's like this and you have a lot of anthems, then maybe it's not worth it. In our case, we have access to like black card draw, which is just generally better. Not paying the life right here, no need to. Do some attacks. Go to combat. Still no keywords, sadly. All right. Let's see. One to each player. We can go one to each player. I like that. Ooh, actually, there's a Liliana we should think about. There is a Liliana we should think about. Jirina to Liliana. What does KO have in play? What does it say? If you draw a card except for the first one you draw two instead? Seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. I guess we'll poke Kithron and then let's send another one to Liliana. I don't know if they want to block with two creatures. They might throw the Blood Artist in front, but we'll see. See how they want to play this. Spencer throwing some shade at Nekusar. Single most overrated commander he's seen. I've only seen one good Nekusar deck, and it was basically a Storm deck. I've seen good ones, just not recently. When I used to play a lot of Magic Online, Nekusar was super, super popular. It's a type of deck that, like, it generally runs a lot of permanents and can be interacted with things that destroy permanents. So if your deck has removal, Nekusar generally won't punish you too hard. But, ooh, opponent's going to double block and take down our Odric. I'm going to get rid of the Dread Presence, because Dread Presence is a lot of value, does a lot of things. Their commander, they just, like, recast. It's annoying to have to recast it, and it's, like, not necessarily worth the mana, but I'd rather get rid of that. Miri does that first strike. It's going to get bigger. Yep. Oh, wait, that'll kill both, right? Yeah, no, that'll kill both. Duh. Was thinking the tough. Got confused in the power and toughness for a moment. That triggers Liliana. Oh, my. Yeah, that does so much. That does so much. Probably should have sent everything that way. Whoops. Sun Titan asked about the Fireflux squad. The Fireflux squad was pretty cool. We traded a Jirina token into this Mentor of the Meek. It itself also did some damage because it was big because of Cathar's Crusade and Jirina. And then it was promptly shot with the Swords to Plowshares right there. And yeah, makes me sad. But for the brief moment that it was in play, it was pretty cool. Looks pretty good in this deck. I have not played Calamax, but I faced one last weekend, and I think I faced two Calamax decks. Haven't seen it go off yet, but the value, like even if you're just playing like Calamax value, is really good. Getting, was it double copies of all your spells? It's pretty insane. As long as your spells are like not complete garbage, it's really good. Basically anything in Commander that says double is going to be really powerful. Double your spells, double your damage, double your combat, double your mana, double your tokens. What else is there? Anything that says double is really good, and anything that says triple is probably game-winning. Mangara is like the best white control commander. Yeah, it's a good one. You could also play like Elishnorn. There's other ways to go about white control, but it is still one of the few white cards that says draw stuff. So drawing is important. There's a Miracle Devastation Tide. Well, that's the Miracle trigger. I'd imagine he goes for it. If he does, we can correctly sequence the Door of Destinies. That'd be fun, right? Well, looks like he's paying. Mangara plus Approach the Second Sun? Yeah, that seems good. So everything gets bounced with the Devastation Tide. Yeah, Mangara Approach seems like a very legit win condition. Certainly worth thinking about if you're playing Mangara. You'd cut Odric from this list? Yeah, it could be better. I just need to work out the keyword situation. It depends on which humans you want to run. You know, when this thing gives you evasion or haste, those are really powerful mechanics. I get it. None of those words are on your commander, but it's a powerful card. Does it necessarily need to be in here? No. There's other ways to get evasion and haste and stuff, but it was just an easy one. It's a human. They had the other one in here when I pulled in the deck list, so I'm like, you want one, you probably want the other. Or Mentor? Oh, Mentor? Yeah. Yeah, Mentor, you know, it's not my favorite. Sometimes it does things. Sometimes it can be really good, but there's like a lot of times where it's not. You do need to make sure that you mana ramp with Mentor to get the best use of it, because it's just really mana hungry and kind of awkward. Like, there's a difference between like paying 1 on your creatures to draw a little bit versus just like tapping out for a turn, paying 4 or 5 to draw, 3, 4, 5 cards that way. Kind of, I don't know. It's weird. I'm not saying like you won't ever do it. It's just, I don't know. Again, your mana production is super, super important when you're messing around with Mentor of the Meek. Here comes some other runes. Yeah. Passioned Orator back to play. Oh, they sequenced it improperly. Could have gained a life. They'll remember that if they lose by 1. It's okay. We also sequenced improperly. Here comes a Lotus Field. Got to sack 2 lands. I probably wouldn't run this, especially in a monocolor, just for the sake of, like, I want to get to 7 planes for Emeria. Someone says the partner commanders better synergize with the base deck. Yeah, I'm not sure how much of this deck is actually still the base. A little bit is, I'm sure. But, yeah, I have no idea. I made a decent number of changes. I didn't really keep super close eye on what it was beforehand. So, yep. The Clash mechanic from Lorwyn. Yeah, Clash mechanic was interesting. It wasn't my favorite. It was kind of weird. But sometimes it did stuff. Sometimes it did stuff. The real fun is when you cast creatures for your combo. Yeah, creature-based combo decks can be a pain. Any sort of like aristocrats, Abzan type of thing can be a problem. I remember I played a game against Jolt a long time ago, and like, we just didn't remove his board before that turn. And like, once the aristocrats thing starts, I had like 3 pieces of spot removal in hand, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's all just instant speed, and it's so hard to respond to. That's a Beacon of Unrest for opponent. Okay. Gonna take our Odric. I don't think there's a homeward path in the deck. There probably should be. We could get it back if we had one, but sadness. Opponent's commander does say Flying Haste First Strike, and that is a really good set of abilities. That's a Soul Guide Lantern coming back for opponent. Not my favorite thing. Kind of bad news for this idol right here. But KO's the one whose graveyard probably needs to be exiled. Yeah. Can exile the Devastation Tide. Devastation Tide's super nasty. Not a thing you want to be cast repetitively in a game. Really easy to get into like loops with Devastation Tide. What's the one? Cataract Leviathan or something? Just bounce everything indefinitely. Witch's Cauldron. Also, I think, Eternal Witness does it. You will not get the card draw. Remember the Lord ability. Yeah, we found that out the hard way. Oops. Mentor of the Meek is great with the partner commanders. I can see that. Like, it's not that it's awful all the time, but it is awkward sometimes. It doesn't always do what you want it to do. It's not like casting Ambition's Cost, which is just you cast the card, you draw three cards. Like, it's super easy and consistent. This thing it's got a lot more variance to it. Castle Embereth Pretty decent card. We need a mountain for it to come in on tap. We do have a mountain. What are we doing this turn? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. We'll be on 9 when we drop a land. See if we can sequence everything to the optimal level. Do we go Cathars and Door of Destinies first? And then try to do all the other stuff next turn? We're a little bit open to attacks. This could give things haste. I don't think it's... Opponent hasn't ramped like crazy. Actually, Authority of the Consoles will keep us from getting crushed by not having blockers. Okay, yeah, I like that. So let's just get the two artifacts, enchantment, pump thingies in play. Though I guess if we're doing that, Mentor the Meek, will that still trigger? Maybe not. I don't know. Play the castle. Oop, I didn't count my white mana. Should have did that before I started this. Get the Cathar's Crusade. Get the Door of Destinies. We will have that awkward moment where, like, if we need blockers next turn, it'll be very difficult to get them unless this Authority gets shot. So potentially wide open for 2 turns right here. Choose human with the Door of Destinies. And we appear to be stuck. Oh, there it goes. Oh, you want what's bad news? That Liliana can just come right back. Eee. Cut Odric for Hamura after the Hamura videos. Thought it worked well in the Mirror Aristocrat. I could see that being a thing, because like if you're doing aristocrat-y stuff with this deck, you know, there's probably some amount of tokens you want to sacrifice. I could see that being good. I put Aurelia and Godo as kind of my big 6 drops in the deck. Obviously, you could go the Hamura path as well. I really like my double combats. Celestial Dawn. Have I ever checked it? Sounds familiar. I gotta look it up. Sounds like something I've seen at some point. Non-land cards you own that aren't in play are white. Non-land permanents you control are white. Lands you control are plains. Colored mana symbols and everything. Everything is white. Yes, I've seen that. Oh, there's a time twister. How bad is this? Maybe not too bad. Maybe not too bad. Depends on what we draw. We just want to draw creatures. It's really where we want to be. Lands and mana ramp is not so much what we want to draw right here. At least we got these out of the hand. These are kind of the big ones. Okay, we did okay. Zulaport, Elishnorn, Adriana. Commander goes back to the command zone. We got a Ruinous Ultimatum, which removal's good. Removal's very good. Brainstorm for KO. Yep. Ominous Seas. Whenever you draw a card, put a foreshadow counter on Ominous Seas. I bet that's how he's trying to win. Yep. That's what I think he's trying to do. The base of the Jirina deck struggles with colors. Yeah, I could see that. Mardu color fixing, it's a little suspect. It's not like a green deck where you have Cultivate and just, you know, cultivate all the basics out of your deck. I've noticed some issues like playing Sir Gwyn, especially with Knights where like everything's double white. I definitely feel that pain. Like this Ruinous Ultimatum it's actually a really difficult casting cost unless you have Chromatic Lantern down. Tithe for opponent. Yeah, it's another thing missing from this deck. I didn't get all the white cards that search up lands into the deck. And again, they eat up more deck slots, leaves less room for creatures. So you got to be really diligent about all that sort of stuff. But I always liked, if I'm playing a white deck, at least one of these, if not two of them. Two of them is really good, can solve a lot of mana problems. Ominous Seas with Greater Good is really fun. Yeah, that seems like a win condition. Simic stuff. Cavalier Dawn coming in. This is totally going to hit one of our things. I do not see the world. And yeah, Cathar's Crusade going down. Ah, makes me sad. Makes me sad. Don't think we have a way to get that one back. Although if KO has Time Twister, could reshuffle again. That might be the way that it happens. Opponent getting that Odric trigger, but nothing doing yet. Opponent going on the attack. We got Impassioned Orator coming in our way. What did we do? All right, yeah, we did some stuff, but we probably deserve this. Still, Door of Destinies with like just our commander seems pretty reasonable. We're going to be on 10 mana when we come back to our turn. What are we doing with 10 mana? Our commander will be 6. Adriana is 5. We can't get both of those. What's going to be the best use of our mana? Could go like Elish Norn, Zulaport, Cutthroat. That definitely sends some kind of message. Unfortunately, opponents just wheeled and didn't look like they cast a lot of stuff, so probably still a lot of removal floating about. What is this? Obnixilis, the Hate Twisted. Whenever an opponent draws a card, deals 1 damage to that player. Yeah. Destroy target creature. Its controller draws 2 cards. Well, at least we got a Golem out of the Cathar's Crusade. Blow up everything? Oh, we will. We will. I want more cards out of our opponent's hand in play first. It's got to milk it for all the value we possibly can. That day's coming. As long as we don't get wheeled again, that day is coming. Mana Rock off the top would be nice. Don't have the like super explosive mana production in this deck. Sword of Feast and Famine's probably the best one. Sword of Feast and Famine off the top would also be pretty sweet. Opponent's going to crack the Soul Guide Lantern, draw a card. Yep. I found that this card is really good in Gerard. I had a game where I started the Gerard loop, but I didn't have like a win condition. But if you can keep getting back Soul Guide Lantern, you can just draw through your deck and eventually find a win condition, find more mana. And beside the fact that it's just like you're exiling your opponent's stuff, it is ridiculously good. Still need some color source to be able to cast the ultimatum. I will keep that in mind. Hadn't done that math yet. We need double black. So there's a black. There's a black. There's a red. There's a red. It looks like 1 white source I think should do it. There's Iroas. Iroas is cool. I put that in the deck. Seemed like a thing that would fit. We do take a damage from the Obnixilis for drawing a card. We could potentially slam into the Obnixilis. Might be worth doing. Iroas does give us more options this turn too, which I like. We could go Iroas and Jirina. Seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, I think I like that. Okay, play. What do we need? Enters tapped unless you control a plains. We control a plains. Check. Play the castle. Play Iroas. And Iroas, yeah, will allow us to tick down the Obnixilis a bunch. I love you too. I will try and squash the competition as best that I can. Again, this is not a super well-tuned deck. It's just kind of, a deck that I imported, which was like largely mediocre, and I made it a little bit less mediocre. I would not call it great by any stretch. What did I say? I said Iroas and then Commander? Or do we Adriana first? Adriana's kind of cool. Let's go for our Commander, because there's like bonuses for recasting our Commander. I'm excited to see how that feels. And with the Door of Destinies, should be pretty good. Because like if they just shoot Jirina and then we recast it again, although we need more mana for that. But even the tokens are good. It's going to play nicely with the Elish Norn. Ooh, Iroas comes in untapped, which is helpful. Maybe not just yet, but like at some point. More white sources. You can turn it into a creature. What is our white devotion? It is 1 white red. So 1, 2, 3, 4 currently. This would get us 5, 6, 7, 8 with the Elish Norn. So our creatures come in. We get Door of Destiny's trigger. We get 2 4/2s. They are tapped currently, but they do have Menace, and Menace is pretty good. Swing into this Obnixilis. We're gonna be a little bit exposed right here. Cavalier Dawn can do some things, especially when it's got protection. Zombie tries to block. It's got Menace. See what opponent's got. I should play one of my super fast competitive decks? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what the next game looks like. Those are nice in that the games are usually short, which is great when you have to go back and edit them afterwards. But I know that, like, generally not too many of my Patreons are, like, super into the, like, hyper fast competitive thing. So one of the things I realized, like, thinking about a deck's power level, one of the biggest determining factors for a deck's power level is the deck's creator. It depends on, like, what they're trying to do, and that will probably influence the power level more than, like, many other attributes about a deck. Winota or Najeela next game? Yeah, those are fast. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't updated my Najeela list in forever. Probably worth doing at some point. I think the last one, well, the one that Nathan sent me had Flash Hulk in it still, so that one's definitely not legal. Need to update that. Winona's been playing pretty good, though. At least in the chances that I've had to play it. Oh, man. CEDH players adjusting to the fact that, like, there is a legitimate top-tier Boros commander is hilarious to watch. Like, you see the gears just crumbling in their head. They're like, wait, what? Oh, yes. Najeela and Winota, yes, are certainly very fast decks to edit when it comes to the videos. I do enjoy an Aurelia deck. I just like Aurelia. Cass gonna swing into the Obnixilis. Yeah, I'm all about that. Mardu, Bane of My Existence, tried to build 3 different versions of Edgar and gave up. You know what? I've had a lot of trouble with Mardu as well. I've probably had more Mardu decks in paper than I've had of, like, any... I mean, aside from Boros, which I have, like, many decks of, but... Aside from that, Mardu would be the, like, color, what's the word I want? It's not pair because it's 3. God, I can't think of the word. I have a word for that. Anyway, the color slice that like I've built more than any other combination of colors, and I have it for a little while, and then I pull it apart. I've had so many Mardu decks. I've had who's the big angel? I had a Tariel deck for a while. It was trying to be like a tap stuff tribal deck. Wasn't great. I had Sir Gwyn. I've had Edgar. I've had Kalia. What else? Any other Mardu decks? Those are probably the main ones. But I've pulled apart all of them. Like, none of them have really kind of stood the test of time. Mardu exists in a weird space. You want more? Movie Watcher says you need more sick guitar vids. Yeah, I'll work on that. Trying to get back into playing every day. Played for about an hour today while the video was rendering and uploading. So 3 days in a row. We're getting there. We're getting there. Spencer also struggling with Mardu a bit. Yeah. Mardu is a weird color. There's a lot of options. You know, one of the things that I find difficult now is just like, when you have a lot of options, that means you can kind of go down a lot of wrong paths. It gets easy to like get focused too easily. You can focus in one direction too easily, or not focus in a direction good enough. Are some things that I find. Like, Mardu's got like a lot of the combat stuff from Boros, but a lot of the black stuff doesn't always synergize with that super well. There are a few things that do, but kind of putting it all together can be tough. I think Snapdax is actually one of the few decks, like a Mardu deck, where I think it kind of pushes everything where you want it to be. Like, you want things that are pretty combat centric, and I still feel like it had the room for removal. Sir Gwyn, if you're running a lot of knights, you run out of room for removal pretty easily. But if you're doing the Voltron thing, you have more room for removal. A lot of equipments, though, and you're just weak to like a single target removal spell while you're trying to get boots on there or something. Tried Big Zergo and Queen Marchesa. Didn't do what you wanted them to do. Yeah. Zergo, I think, is still pretty good. Zergo, I've lost to a lot of Zergo decks over the years. It's still a well-positioned commander, I think. Maybe a little bit weak. I think people are wiser to spot removal now. Based on the tweet that I sent out the other day where like people are not running enough board wipes, the removal that they do run is heavily instant speed stuff, so that deals with Zergo a little better. So, maybe a little bit less well-positioned than it has been in the past, but I think the game plan for Zergo is fairly straightforward, though. It's like, okay, I need to get there with commander damage. And, you know, do you want to blow up all the lands? Do you not want to blow up all the lands? How much removal you want to run? That sort of stuff. As far as Queen Marchesa, yeah. Queen Marchesa is interesting because she's very open. She doesn't, like, push you in a specific direction. So you have to, like, make those choices yourself. What do you really want to do with this deck? And, yeah, there's a lot of things there. So, you know, if you want to be aristocrats, like, make sure you really go aristocrats. If you want to be combat, make sure you go combat. If you want to be like a combo deck or a control deck, you know, those things too. Make sure you have your win condition really planned out. There's a Blasphemous Act. Yeah, that's a thing. It's pretty real. Blasphemous Act is pretty real. Infect Voltron Snapdax could be fun. The one problem with that is that the infect creatures themselves are terrible when you're not mutating onto them. They are really only good with Snapdax on top of them. Like, by themselves, they are overcosted 2/1s and stuff. So that's like not the best. I don't know. I'm just not an infect guy personally. If the creatures had a bit more substance, I probably wouldn't mind it as much, but they are very small, a little overcosted, and pretty weak compared to the rest of the stuff on board. Has anyone tried Jirina Kudro as an aristocrat style deck? I have not, but I think you certainly could. I was trying to get Ashnod's Altar into the deck. I cut it at like the last second, just trying to get down to 100 cards, but I think you certainly could play this as aristocrats. The original build of this deck also had a Judith in it. So yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. I would need to see it, but yeah, you know, you're producing tokens out of the command zone. The tokens themselves have combat value and then are just going to die to things naturally, so having some Zulaport Cutthroats around seems like a pretty good idea. Jam an Athreos in there, a little bit more reanimation. I think you got yourself a pretty solid deck. Spencer got into a discussion with a guy at the M21 pre-release, and that he was able to go about removal into Commander. He was complaining about a card and said, and then you responded with play more removal, and then he got all huffy. Yeah, to some degree that's true. If he's not running like enough removal, yes, play more removal. But like, there is a problem with threat density also. For me, the classic example is Nyx Plume Ancient. There are already a lot of creatures that you need to shoot in a green deck. Nyx Plume Ancient is just one more of those. There's only so much removal in my deck. I don't necessarily want to play a control deck with like 40 removal spells, because that doesn't seem like a lot of fun. But yes, it's very easy to like tell someone to play more removal, but to some degree, there's also just like a lot of things that need to get blown up. More than there ever used to be, so it's not necessarily all their fault, but again, I don't know what their deck list looks like. So, been testing Kelsian. Oh god, which one's that? I gotta look that up. Kind of a hybrid Zergo Marchesa. These new cards, can't stay on top of these new cards. So many of them. Oh, okay, yeah, that's the Mardu one. That's Vigilance, Haste. +1/+1 for each experience counter you have. Tap it, 1 damage to a creature you don't control. When that creature dies, you get an experience counter. Looks interesting. Can't tell if it's good, at least on its surface. There's probably some stuff you can do there. I mean, if you put Death Touch on it, it's going to get a lot better, which is cool. But at the end of the day, it's sort of like a bad Kresh, I guess. Maybe bad is unfair, but like a more... It has more abilities than Kresh, but also requires you to jump through more hoops than Kresh. So I guess that's a good way to analyze it. Green as the Teamer Sabertooth Eternal Witness combo. Yeah. Teamer Sabertooth is not a card that I have any love for. Any jumpstart cards that I've seen for Aurelia? Honestly, I've been so bombarded with just like the new sets coming out that I've completely shut down and can't process new cards. I have reached the limit on new cards. I don't know. There's probably some good cards in Jumpstart, right? I'll see if I can bring up the Jumpstart spoilers. I've looked at all the cards at some point, but the fact that there's been like, feels like 5 sets in the past 2 or 3 months makes it really hard for me to remember what cards are in where. So I'll take a peek at that as soon as we finish up our turn. How much removal do you pack before you start taking away from your game plan? That's a great question. 10 to 12 is kind of the prescribed amount. 14 is generally what I run for like a quote unquote stronger deck, just because blowing people's stuff up is important in stronger decks. You start getting north of 14, you really feel that you're limited on deck slots, at least in my opinion. But even at 14, you're like, I could definitely switch a removal spell for like a creature or something fun. Oh, those are Necropotents, by the way, and opponents got a lot of life, so they are drawing many cards. What are card counts in opponents' hands? There's a Ral in play. I've been like talking a lot. I should probably take stock on what's on board. That's got 4 counters on it. That's going to get nasty. A lot of lands over there. That's got this thing. When you copy an instant or sorcery, it deals 1 damage to an opponent or player. It gives you the ability to copy instants and sorceries. Seems pretty problematic. Don't really want that Necro to stick. I mean, are we on the Ruinous Ultimatum this turn? But there's not like... Oh, that's so much value. We didn't get any clean attacks into them. I wish I completely confident we don't have spot removal for this Authority of the Consoles. Someone says, I haven't even registered Jumpstart. I just started incorporating Ikoria just now. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. I'm still in Ikoria mode right now. Haven't really touched C20 all that much, which is, this is a C20 commander, right? Yeah, this is C20, I think. Too much product. The Necropotent's Reliquary. Oh, they do have Reliquary Tower. Yeah, that's good. That is really good. Doesn't have to discard 12 cards. Has lots of life. Oh, don't want a Runeless Ultimatum yet, but they also have 12 cards in hand. Maybe we don't go yet. So, like, they are limited by the amount of things that they can cast because they don't have, like, tons and tons of mana ramp. But there is an Urborg right there. Some chance that they caught the Cabal Coffers. I don't know. I think we try to do the proactive thing this turn. How much is this to cast again? 8. Ugh, gross. 8's no good. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mana. Could go Jirina and Zulaport. Could also... Maybe Jirina and Zulaport? I don't know. Yeah, I'm feeling Jirina Zulaport. Just because this makes more bodies, and both of these cards pump bodies. I think that's what I want. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, make sure we have enough to do all this. I think it's probably going to be exactly enough. I'm trying to see if I need to lose life to the Ancient Tomb or not. No, I don't think we do. Play the Plateau. Just being cautious about what I'm doing. Trying not to mistap. So recast our commander again. Another Door of Destiny's trigger. Give him this Authority of the Consoles. He seems to get it every time. Authority of the Consoles. Such a mood killer. You're playing an aggro deck. It's like, I want to swing back with haste. Nope. Not today. We get our ETB trigger, so this should be number 3. 3 tokens. Seems pretty good. Three Authority of the Consoles triggers. What's next? The Zulaport Cutthroat. Door of Destinies will trigger. And we will pass like that. Enter tapped could be called slow. Potentially. You could potentially keyword that. I don't know that it's necessary. What are some of the best haste enablers I can think of? Fervor. Fervor is really good. Lightning Greaves, obviously, because it's also protection. So one of the things with haste is that, like, there are options to get haste plus something else. Lightning Greaves, like I said, Swift of Boots. Fleet Feather Sandals is very underrated for certain decks. Like, I run it in Akiri Bruce. It's really good in that deck. There are probably some other, like, more Voltron style decks that would really like Fleet Feather Sandals. What else gives haste? Helm of Cauldra gives haste, which is relevant in Sisay. Urabrask is a pretty underrated card. Kristen loves Urabrask in her Aurelia decks, and it has the haste, but it also has the Authority of the Consoles mode, where your opponent's stuff comes in tapped. It makes it really hard for them to get blockers in. Urabrask is very underrated. Doesn't get enough love in Commander, I don't think. Someone mentions Fires of Yamavaya. Oh yeah, what's the other one? The other Gruul one. Something of the Wild. Rhythm of the Wild. Concordant Crossroads is really good, but yeah, Concordant Crossroads can cause problems if you're not planning to win the game this turn. Amulet of Vigor. Yeah, we could go for an Amulet of Vigor right now. It would help us a lot. Crashing Drawbridge is interesting. I think mono white is probably the only color that really needs it. Maybe like mono black. Do blue decks attack ever? Not that I'm usually aware of. But it is an interesting card. It is colorless, which is a big deal, and not 7 mana and like $25, like Aurelia's Memorial, Akroma's Memorial. Sorry. Time Twister coming back. We're losing all our cool stuff. Bummer. Yeah, maybe we should have just got those out of the hand instead. Probably could have played around that a little bit better. It's tough to know when he was planning to wheel. Also, I think this is going to be a double wheel. No, it hasn't copied yet, so that's good. Mass Hysteria. Yeah, Mass Hysteria is also silly. The color shifted Concordant Crossroads. Color corrected Concordant Crossroads. What was I checking up? I was checking Jumpstart spoilers. Card previews. Let's see what we got going here. Good Aurelia cards. Let's see. Many counters on the Ominous Seas. Yep. What's our new hand look like? It's a Wheel of Fortune. Vanquisher's Banner is cool, but not a lot of creatures. Only one in the frontline medic, but cost reduction and Herald's Horn is good news. But we're getting to that point in the game where we got to be careful. He's got a lot of combo-ness going on over here. Honestly, we're probably going to have to take him out if we get the chance to untap with our stuff, because I think he's getting close, you know. He's got cost reduction. He's got spell doubling. He's got, you know, payoffs for drawing. He's going to make himself an 8/8. Yep, there's that. Looking back at Jumpstart. Ooh, Linvala reprint. Yeah, need more Linvalas. That card's super expensive. Rise of the Dark Realms reprint. That one's badly needed. Shieldred, Craterhoof. Those are all cool cards. Selvala reprint. Badly needed. Although, I would care not to see Selvala anymore. Selvala's mono green Selvala is too good. The green-white one is also a little bit OP. Path of Bravery. As long as your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, creatures you control get +1/+1, so bad Anthem. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, you gain life equal to the number of attacking creatures. That's interesting in Aurelia. I'm not saying it's the first thing that I'm gonna run, but if you wanted to like dip into a life gain kind of theme, like going heavy with lifelink, that could certainly be interesting. The big one that I did see, Steel Plume Marshal. When it attacks, other creatures you control get flying and +2/+2 until end of turn. It's a 5-drop, and 5 CMC creatures are super crowded for Aurelia. This one basically just gives you damage, but it is +2/+2 and evasion, and that +2 will stack with your second combat. So, like, that's a lot of damage. Like, literally one other creature, especially if you put Double Strike on it. Like, if that one other creature is Bruce Tarl, you go Bruce, Steel Plume, Aurelia, someone's probably dead. So, but that does compete in a similar space as, like, Adriana. And there's other creatures that are like 5 mana and damage only. Sunscorch Regent kind of lives in that same space. The question is, do you want damage or value off of your 5-drops? Those are kind of the big ones. There's probably some red stuff. Let's see what's in red. We got a bunch of reprints. All look pretty cool. Muxus has a million words on it. What's this even do? Enters battlefield. Real top 6. Goblin cards. Oh, yeah, the goblin craziness. Probably not for Aurelia, but cool card. Cool card. Let's see, uncommons, anything crazy? Yeah, so I'm not seeing, like, crazy Aurelia stuff in Jumpstart, but Gisela got a ton of help in M21, so there's all of that. Anger is great for haste. Yeah, Anger's a good one. I tend not to run that one as much as I should. I don't know why. I don't run like Anger decks for some reason, because usually you probably want your graveyard a little bit. You're probably like Grixis, I'm thinking, is really Anger type thing where like you're gonna filter a little bit. You're probably gonna draw and discard. We survived KO's turn. That's cool. Sword of the Animus coming in for Kithron. Gonna equip it to the Daxos. Yep. Should have blown everything up. Too many good things out. Yeah, we've lost the opportunity now. Maybe we should have. Although there was like a medium amount of good things. Like if every player had like maybe 1 to 2 more like really impactful cards out, I might have gone that direction. But kind of went the more proactive route. We have a lot of power in play right now. What is that? 24 power, with potentially more on the way if no removal happens right here. What will my turn be? Let's start thinking about our turn a little bit. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 lands when we make a land drop. We can play the Herald's Horn to get some cost reduction on the frontline medic. We can play Vanquisher's Banner to get more power and card draw and all the good stuff. What did I say? 11, 12? I think we're on 12. So that'd be 5. That's 8. That'd be 11. Go with the tap land if we wanted after that. Doesn't seem awful. Unbreakable Formation, unfortunately not the one we can cast for free. Maybe we give some thought about, can we hold up Unbreakable Formation? That would be very smart if we could. So we'll be on 12. That'll be 5. We play that. That's 8. And this will be 2. That's 10. Nope, still one short. Need like a mana rock or something. Need something. What then we could do, we can start thinking about this Castle Embereth. Not a lot of blockers currently. KO is tapped out. May need to just take him out for like opportunity reasons. It's turn 11. Oh, that's a Vampiric Tutor. I'm sure that's bad. Actually, opponent can't draw it. What does this thing do? That's a Grey Merchant. Grey Merchant doesn't draw cards. What's this do? That draws cards. Okay. So they can tutor a thing, draw it. And that would all be something. Any deck archetypes that I wish had a commander or a better one? Oh, that's a good question, actually. I would say I am not the best at identifying which archetypes need more love in different colors. I guess the one, like, the thing I've been saying for like ever and ever, I want to see more reanimation in mono white. Like, I think Araya 2.0 would be really cool. Maybe just, the thing that I want is just like, maybe make it like a 6-drop when it ETBs, reanimate a thing. Because then it's also an easy combo with Karmic Guide. And like, white needs the love. White needs more combos. It needs more ways to end the game quickly. More ways to go about the Karmic Guide combo would be a good thing for white, I think. But you can also just play it as a value play as well. So that's kind of the thing that I would like to see. I don't know that there's like a lot of other things that I feel like are really missing. Like, you know, when I think about like, there's so many commanders now, you know, if there's a thing that you want to play, there's probably something pretty close to what you want to be doing. What was I thinking about the other day? There was something, I was thinking about something 5-color, and I'm like, there's actually not like a great option for that, but another white legend that interacts with equipment. Yeah, that'd be nice. They're really stingy. about the cards that interact with equipment. I don't know why. Like, when you look at the really good equipment cards, you've got Stoneforge Mystic, Stonehewer Giant, and Godo. That's a damnation. So we're gonna lose all that cool stuff we talked about. That is unfortunate. I guess we're going into rebuild mode. But all those cards I just mentioned are super old. Like, none of those cards are particularly recent. Yeah, I don't know. They're just really stingy about the equipments. And, like, it's not like they print really good equipments all the time either. Before Modern Horizons? When was the last good equipment commander? Or a good equipment, rather. They'll sneak one, like, you get, like, maybe one decent one a year, but nothing that really blows you away. I guess Embercleave. Embercleave was the good one. That was a good one from that year, but there was definitely a drought for probably, like, 5 years. Basically, like, new Phyrexia to, I don't know, Embercleave. They printed, like, smaller value-y equipments, like Sword of the Animist and Dowsing Dagger, stuff like that, which are interesting, but nothing that's, like, really big, drop the hammer kind of stuff. That's, like, super, super cool, but, yeah, I don't know. Shram is cool. I really just want Shram to be Pure Steel Paladin. I'm just upset that it's not Pure Steel Paladin. I care more about the free equips than I care about the draw. The draw is nice, but... Here, I'm going to tell you guys a little story. What do we got? We got about 70 people watching right now. When I was at... Oh, yeah, Blackblade Reforged. Blackblade Reforged is a really cool equipment, by the way, because, like, the actual Blackblade ability by itself is not that exciting. It's like, all right, it gets +1/+1 for each land. It's powerful, but it's not, like, super exciting. But the fact that they put that legendary clause on there just makes it way more interesting than it would have been otherwise. I think that was a really cool touch on that card, and I think it was just a really nice design piece. Anyway, what was I about to say? Oh, yeah, story. So when I was at GP Vegas, Gavin talked about the original design for Luminous Primordial, the white Primordial. Currently, it's basically Swords to Plowshares for each opponent. Originally, that was going to grab an equipment for each opponent, and I'm so sad that that card never got printed. Oh, it would have been so good. Get 3 equipments, do ridiculous stuff. Oh, man, would have been so amazing. I just want to bug him until he, like, actually makes that card and puts it in the set now. It's never going to happen, but I can dream. Colossus Hammer is cool, but it does have some limiting factors. You can't just, like, jam it into every single deck. So that is the thing. You really need the cheat cost equips in there to make that work. We draw a land. Not really what I was looking for. Let's start with the Vanquisher's Banner, I guess. Authority of the Console still in place, so everything going to come in tapped. Pretty terrible. Pretty terrible. Let's see. Do we need any colored mana? I think just white at the moment. There's Vanquisher's Banner. Choosing Human. Actually, let's get the Herald's Horn next. Choosing Human. Play Frontline Medic. Ooh, you know what we could do? We could play the Basilica right here and pick up the Windbrisk Heights. I might do that. We will get a Door of Destiny's trigger and a Vanquisher's Banner trigger. Sweet. Four counters on Door of Destinies. If we can untap with humans and or give them haste and not get crushed by Authority of the Consoles, we'd actually have a lot of damage. Yeah, Colossal Hammer is really good with Sir Gwyn, but it's not a thing. Like, you can't put it in Aurelia. Doesn't really make a ton of sense in that deck, but That's basically my measure of things. If it can't go in Aurelia, it's probably not good. I'm just kidding. Play the Basilica. Oh man, it's getting super laggy. Play the Basilica. There's the trigger. Pick up the Windbrisk Heights. It's slow. It's a little awkward if we get wheeled. It's not going to be great. But it potentially gives us more value. But the game does need to go a few more turns for that to matter. But it's something. It's something. Note that our frontline medic is an 8/8. And we can counter a spell with X in it unless its controller pays 3. I'd like to pick up the Windbrisk Heights now. You want to see a 5-color keyword soup deck that with the new Abzan commander as a secret secondary commander? Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I was super upset, speaking of archetypes, I was super upset in Commander 17. I really thought there was going to be an Angels commander in 17. Cats was like that was the weird one. Like Wizards, I get they need something that's kind of blue based. Seems fine. The Cats deck, I don't know. A lot of things about the Cats deck bothered me. Why isn't the Zon green and white? Mono white would have been perfect, or red and white, and make the Commander Naya, I think would have been cool. I don't know. Cats wasn't the triad that I'm like, yeah, we really need a Cats commander. Erebos is cool. I really wanted like a sweet kind of maybe 3 to 4 color Angel commander, and that just didn't happen. There's a Time Spiral. Yeah, that's good. This hand is not great. Not going to get to do the Windbrisk Heights though, unless it comes back to us. Here's the thing. You kind of think about the line of play a little bit. Zombie wiped the board. I wasn't checking chat when this happened, but if we were playing in paper, we may have had a conversation about the fact that, like, hey, KO's playing what appears to be a combo deck. Mangara is going to, like, stall and do white shenanigans. Let me untap. I won't attack you. Let me take these 2 players out just for, like, the sake of, keeping the game moving, not losing to the combos. And give me a turn to do this stuff because, that's probably a conversation that I have if we're playing paper and I'm, like, having open dialogue with our opponents. I can only multitask so much, checking chat and everything else, but yeah, I may have held, like, I get it. We had a lot of power in play, but at some point, if you can just, like, negotiate the board wipe, be like, hey, you need to take these 2 out because they're going to be hard to contain. That's certainly a conversation that's worth having when you're, kind of going the politics route. Just because there's creatures on board doesn't mean you need to blow them up immediately. If you can convince that player to hurt or take out your opponents, that is a great use of having creatures in play. And consequently why, what's that card? Bloodthirsty Blade is ridiculous. It does all the things you want. It keeps a big creature from attacking you, and it attacks your opponent. It's so good. It's so ridiculously good. Saheeli, Sublime Artificer, coming into play. Yep. Spencer, yes, you did tell me that you let Gavin take over the table in our game. Yeah. Gavin was playing my Sir Gwyn deck. And he was running the table with it. Spencer, who's in the chat with us now, was in the game with us and had the removal spell, but I don't know his exact train of thought for not using it. Something to the effect of, like, I'll let the magic guy have it. It was a cool experience nonetheless, but yeah, no, Sir Gwyn just ran the show right there. He kind of snubbed my deck a little, though. He's like, it was exactly what I expected, were his comments. And I'm like, oh man, I've been working so hard on that. And, like, You know, I was trying to make it like really pushed and just be like the fastest Voltron imaginable. It's tough. It's tough with a 6-mana commander, but yeah, it was pretty efficient. It was operating very efficiently at that moment, but has since been taken apart because I rebuilt other equipment decks and I've only got one Fire and Ice. Hopefully Fire and Ice gets super cheap with the reprint. I'm sure it won't be $5, but, you know, 30 or less would be ideal. There's a Night's Whisper. And he's making servos and doing stuff. Our new hand, by the way, not a lot of gas. Got protection, got reanimation, but the graveyards have been shuffled. We got a Vault of the Archangel, which is a very cool land. Removal, and a Zulaport Cutthroat. You want to know what removal does, though? Removal gets rid of that Authority of the Consoles. What do opponents have? It also gets rid of Necropotence. Gets rid of the Ominous Seas. I think we need to keep our artifacts a little bit too much, so we definitely don't want to blow up the artifacts as much as I would love to. There's a pile of 8/8s over there, so we're probably going to have to blow up some creatures. Okay. $5 Fire and Ice is every Voltron player's dream? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Does Fire and Ice still see play in other formats? Because it used to be in, like, Legacy. I guess not really Modern for the most part, but Legacy, I guess. Because it's just always been an expensive card. I don't know that it's ever been, like, less than 30 or 40 in the, you know, time frame that I've really been... In the last 10 years, I don't think it's ever been less than 30. The lag is real. The lag is very real. KO's down to 6, by the way. Austere command on enchantments and low creatures. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We will lose the frontline medic. Actually, this should untap. I don't think another... Well, I don't know. I don't know what the black player is going to do. They've got a Necro with Reliquary and... What are they at? 7 cards in hand? That's not too bad. Could be worse. Could be worse. But... we could take KO out with combat damage, assuming this untaps. Then we may need to readjust our choices on Austere afterwards. But yeah, getting rid of Authority probably makes sense. Getting rid of Necro is going to make a lot of sense. I mean, so far, I've been really impressed with what this commander does. Just casting it, getting the 2/0 is decent. And then, you know, as soon as you get Door of Destinies, any of these team pump effects, it gets really good. You just have a lot of power on board. Because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the go-wide style decks. But I think one of the questions you ask with Jirina is, like, how many humans do you actually need in the deck? The fact that she makes them on her own means that, like, you don't need to cast every single, like, human token that you're making. Like, you get some number of them with your commander, and just recasting your commander gives you the ability to put a lot of bodies into play. So that's something. I've been impressed so far. I'm liking it. $10 for Feast and Famine? Yeah, that would be sweet. Is that what they're actually at? Is that the preview or the pre-order price? Double Masters, Sword of Feast and Famine. Nope, I'm seeing 34 for the regular. Still way less than what the other ones are at right now. I'm seeing, what, 60? 60 for Mirrored and Besieged? Give or take. Ooh. Man, that's expensive. It is that good. It is like $60 good, and I don't say that about a lot of cards, but it is actually that good. It's a mana doubler that gives you protection from 2 colors. And makes people discard things. Opponent's got a Knight of the White Orchid. They got Core Cartographer, Suits It Up, Lightning Greaves, Skull Clamp. Sword of the Animist. This one has haste. He could poke KO if he wants. This is the one spot, though, where, like, the scenario that just happened is the thing you don't want to happen when you're playing a creature deck. It's kind of that late game board wipe when you're, like, trying to rebuild. It's like late game board wipe plus authority of the consoles. So, like, you need to wait for your stuff to untap. It's like you probably just need Teferi's Protection to get through one of those board wipes, because getting tangled up right here, it's turn 12, is how you lose a game easily. If you just can't get your creatures going, you get disrupted too much. It's all a bad time. Played last weekend, and there were 2 blue decks at the table, and it was basically that story of just like a lot of bounce and a lot of single target removal, but not a lot of hard board wipes. So the Marin player was able to get very far ahead because bounce doesn't impact a deck full of green ETB creatures all that much. So keep that in mind, that, like, you know, many green creatures are ETBs. Yes, Rift is good. Yes, Devastation Tide is good, but they don't solve the problem against green decks necessarily. Read the bones for opponent. Yep. Gonna lose 2 life. Opponent does not cast this giant killer at any point. Just waiting for the right moment on this giant killer. Now, a couple wheels have happened, so people's hands keep getting refilled, but strip mine the tower? Oh yeah, we could do that. That is a thing that we could do. Let's see. Let's think about what we want to be doing. So KO is the source of a lot of wheels. He's got a lot of power. It's probably time for him to go. I think we're going to get a chance to untap some damage here. Blade of the Blood Chief coming down. Yep, you gonna put that on Miri? Yep. If we get rid of KO, low likelihood of a wheel after that, which means, because I don't want to lose Vault of the Archangel to a wheel either. It's a good card. The hand we're left with is a little bit awkward, though. We get a Herald's Horn trigger. Come on, human. Let's see it. Reveal. What do we reveal? Is it a Mentor of the Meek? Reveal a card. Click the card to reveal it. Where is the card? I don't understand what's happening. Is this in the game log? Reveal a creature card. Click a card to reveal it. Okay. No idea what's happening. I don't use Herald's Horn very much. I should probably use it a little bit more than I do. What did we draw? Did we draw? What just happened? I have no idea what happened. Is there like an anti-draw effect in play or something? Very confused. Very, very confused. Because we had all of these cards. We appeared to have not drawn a card? Huh. That seems bad. That seems bad. Am I missing an effect somewhere? Yeah, I don't know. That being the case, I guess we just go in and kill KO, because he's a problem. Opportunity. The opportunity's there. He's got a lot of power in play. the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Yeah, I don't think any of that happened. Attack KO. Oops. He said he successfully stalled the game until turn 12. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yeah, I have no idea where our draw went. That's pretty frustrating. We need cards. Our commander's good. I don't know if our commander's good enough by itself. I still feel like we need a few more creatures to really kind of drive it home. Come on. F6, please. KO goes down. Finally getting someone out of this game at turn 12. Yeah, strip mine the tower seems like a pretty good idea. Also a hall right there. Yeah, that's also a thing. I don't know. I'm not like... I don't feel like Austere Command is the play yet. How much is Jirina now? I mean, there might be some... May not just have other things to do. Oh, how much is that? That is a 6 plus 3 is 9. It's a lot. It's a lot. I think it makes sense, though. I think it makes sense. Do that. Do this. So we're going to get a bunch of bodies. They're all going to be huge. And that's super important. Oh, the lag. Door of Destiny's Vanquisher's Banner. Both trigger. Get the team bigger. Draw a card. It's a Mirror March. That's a pretty cool card. Jirina on the stack. There's the Jirina trigger. Whew, it's a 9/9. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. We've got the flaw. Ooh, that's a flawless maneuver, so we can tap out. Excellent. So, like, this kind of forces opponents into a board wipe. Now, there's a black player at the table. It could be Toxic Deluge, but it will be Deluge for a lot of life, which is still a thing. Play the Strip Mine. Then play the Zulaport. Oh, it costs one less. Cool. That'll trigger Vanquishers and Door of Destiny. Zulaport, Blood Artist, those effects are really good. Because, you know, when you think about people's primary way to get rid of creatures, it's usually a board wipe. Like, it's usually a Blasphemous Act, something like that. And it's a lot of free damage. Also, like, the fact that it gains you life, it does a lot. Does a lot. We draw a Godo. Godo's cool. Godo can get Feast and Famine. It can get Skull Clamp. There's a couple other things. Those are kind of the big ones, though. We've got 3 mana up. Anything we can do with it. Nothing to do with that. We can leave up Swords, leave up Strip Mine. Seems like a plan. Seems like a plan. Wait to the last moment on the Strip Mine. See if they go to the end step with a million Necro triggers. So what I'm seeing right now is that, like, this game's been going pretty long. Jirina scales really well into the late game. So, the longer the game goes, the more creatures you get. And, in some sense, that ability has a way to kind of limit how long a game can actually go. Because even if opponents just keep stalling the way they do, if we're able to continuously just recast this, we're going to get more and more bodies every time. So if they don't win based on whatever actions they take, then we are very likely to win based on just recasting our commander, because lots of bodies, and in this case, they are huge. Put some boots on an Archangel of Thune. How do I feel about that? That's going to pump up their team, gain them more life. Is that worth the swords? I don't think it's worth the swords. It's good, but we've got Iroas still, and Iroas is really good. Someone's asking if they could do 14 to me. What? What are you guys trying to do? We're at 28. Oh, maybe he's got a True Conviction. True Conviction would be pretty savage with the Archangel. Also, with Authority of the Consuls now, Authority of the Consuls plus Archangel of Thune means their team will get huge based on recast. Yeah, maybe I should have swords the Archangel. Okay. That probably should have swords that, but we're just going to wait it out and hope it doesn't cause problems. Everything coming our way. Yep. Sword of the Animus will trigger. Did anyone see the curve on the Sultai C20 Precon? No. What's the curve look like? Is it bad? I like really balanced mana curves whenever I can achieve them. Like, this is way too 3-drop heavy for me, personally. I would still like to cut. I'd like to cut maybe, if I can get down to about 15 3-drops, so maybe like 3 more of them. Kind of space that out amongst everything else. I still like some 6 and 7 drops in a deck. I don't like to go super light on those, because those kind of give you the late game punch you need to be able to do stuff. It's all 3-drops? Yeah. All 3-drops is like not ideal, because 3-drops are not always the most impactful. And if you get to like where we are on turn 12, casting 2 3-drops on turn 12 probably isn't enough to like really put you over the hump. You probably want something bigger. Now, that doesn't apply to every situation. Like, Voltron decks have a lot of 3-drops because of the swords. But, so you don't necessarily need like a super high curve and that, that sort of play. But yeah, I don't know. I like to have something big in the late game to be able to go to. Like, this Godo is really nice in the late game. Any sort of extra combat, even for opponent's Archangel of Thune right here. I'm sure they wanted to get to it sooner, but that's going to be much more impactful than just like more 3-drops. Opponent puts us down to 19. Yeah, that hurt a little bit. If for some reason we need to gain life, we can do that with the swords. Never know when you might need to do that. Opponent going to recast their commander, Mangara, coming back. Austere Command with Flawless Maneuver next turn? Maybe. That could be a pretty sweet line of play. That'd probably be enough to maybe finish it. We should have the damage, I think. Opponents have about... What is that? Is that 80 or 90? Math. That's 14. Carry the 1. It's 3. It's 8. Yeah, 94 life between them. How much damage do we actually have? 1, 2. What is that? That's 5. So that's like 50. Plus 20 more. We're a little short, but we've got more humans. More humans could alter the tide right there. Giant Killer coming in. Yep, finally coming into play. Has been hanging out in the... Where do they hang out? Exile Zone? Yeah, in the Exile Zone for many, many turns. Is that 84? Looks like 94, right? Where's the calculator? Get the calculator out. Usually I go to combat stuff with the calculator. Super helpful. I'm kidding. I don't actually do that, but I should. It is 84. Math. What? Oh, that's a Blackblade Reforged. Okay, okay. I see what's up. That's probably a very lethal Miri with Blackblade. I guess they don't have any commander damage on us. They should have attacked in the early game a little bit more, I think, because, you know, if they put like 3 or 6 commander damage on us right here, they probably have enough to get there with the lands. I don't know that it's going to be enough. Do we want to give them a million life? Opponent's asking if I'm going their way. I mean, you know, we probably got to go in both directions, honestly. Yeah, I mean, they got the Necro thing happening. Yeah, let's not mess around with that. Shoot the Miri. Do I expect Lady Gaga's price to continue to go down or won't drop anymore? I don't know what you mean by Lady Gaga. If you're talking about... No, that's not... I don't know. Who's Lady Gaga? You know, other than the musical artist. I don't know who that is in the Magic world. I will say in general, prices are really weird right now. I have like gut feelings on things, but you know, it's not like I have a crystal ball and know exactly what's going to happen. So, someone asked me about Embercleave the other day and if they would get cheaper, and like, I think Embercleave has established itself enough in Commander, and it's going to have like a price memory. I don't think Embercleave's ever going to get like super cheap, even like after it rotates out of Standard. Just kind of my take on it, because Standard players looking to get rid of them will probably just get scooped up by Commander players. Oh, Stoneforge Mystic? I don't actually know. I haven't seen what the new pre-order price is. Let me take a peek at that. Stoneforge Mystic Double Masters. It's being printed as a rare, so that should impact the price pretty heavily. I don't know that it's going to be like $2, but the fact that it's not a mythic is a really good thing. So yeah, I'd wait a little bit on Stoneforge Mystic. They're saying pre-order for 20. If I had to throw a number, maybe 10. Maybe 10 would probably be a pretty good place to buy. Again, I'm guessing a little bit, but as a normal rare, that will impact the price a lot more than mythics. Don't always seem to impact the price all that much. Here comes the Damnation. That's actually good. So let's cast the Flawless Maneuver without paying its mana cost. I think this is the first time I'm casting a Flawless Maneuver, so very exciting. Haven't really had a chance to do this yet. That will trigger the Mangara. We're both casting our second spell each turn, so they're going to draw a 2. And I think opponent's about to find out how good Flawless Maneuver is, because we're going to untap with a pretty serious board state. Hopefully this last thing right here isn't like some white fog or some nonsense. Opponent just scoops it. Okie dokie. I get it. This game's going long. This game's going very long. Realizing they're tapped out, no blockers. We're probably gonna have to take a couple steps to make sure we have enough. Well, now we don't have to, because now we don't have to deal with that life. Although there's some blockers, we can no longer do the austere command thing because of the Flawless Maneuver having to get used. If we can turn on Iroas, that's a pretty good source of damage. Take a peek at the equipment real quick, see if there's anything that pushes us over the hump. Feast and Famine, Sword of the Animist, Dousing Dagger, Skull Clamp. Nothing crazy. Feast and Famine, probably the best one just for like doing more stuff. Oh, we do have Menace, so opponent can only block with 1. That being the case, brings back to our turn Herald's Horn. Let's see if I can like not mess this up this time. There's an Adriana. Yeah, let's reveal that. Put that in hand. Adriana will get us over the hump easily. Put in hand. I have no idea what happened last turn. Did I just like not see the thing that we drew or something? Okay, we've revealed that. It comes into our hand. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I accidentally passed. Hopefully it's enough damage. Hopefully it's enough damage. Attack with everything. If not, we can blow up the board and then Zulaport. And that should get us there. Mangara will trigger. Frontline Medic will trigger. Yeah, it's been lagging super, super bad. And I clicked OK the second time. That's the thing you should never do in Magic Online. You'll hit those lag spikes, and then you'll pass parts of the phase parts of the turn that you really wanted. So, yeah. Think this is GG. Opponent says not the best timing for a concession. No, not the best. Oh, he's got a generous gift for our Door of Destinies. Woof. Okay, not dead yet. Not dead yet. That is a significant loss of damage. Hey, you know what, though? How long are these indestructible for? Indestructible until end of turn. I think it's austere command time. Opponent's going to gain a life. Archangel of Thune will make things bigger. It's okay. I think this is all going to work out, actually. Do we want to blow up our artifacts? Not really. Not really, but we can get rid of their artifacts, too. And they have nasty artifacts. But we got to blow up creatures. Small creature, not that big of a deal. Big creature, that one's a big deal. Big creature and small creature. Okay. Play the Vault of the Archangel. Oh, the lag. The lag is so serious. Yet. Are we blowing up artifacts? We're talking Lightning Greaves, Sword of the Animus, Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp's pretty good. And a Talisman. Ugh. Let's just go all creatures, I think. Or enchantments? No, we'll go big creatures, enchantments. That Authority of the Consoles is just it's been wrecking us all game. So, creature, enchantments, and 4 or greater. Use the Ancient Tomb right here. Yeah, that generous gift. What? Real magic card. All right, so we get rid of some big creatures. I think I just... No, we can't pass because we have mana up. Okay, so yeah, get rid of all that stuff. Play the Signet. Question here. Like, how much more do we want to commit to the board? Because that's... Yeah, I mean, that's fairly lethal. How big is this thing? It's a 2/3. Adriana will give us more power. I don't want to play, like, more things into an austere command if they have it. So I think I'm actually just... No, maybe we should have one creature. Let's get Godo. Just in case they mount some big counterattack here. We're going to draw with the Vanquisher's Banner. Ooh. We draw Species Specialist. I don't think we can get that one in. It's 4 mana. We have 1 cost reduction. Yeah, that's not going to be good enough. I think I'm going to go for Skull Clamp just in case we do get wiped. Feast and Famine is nice, but we've done pretty well on the lands, just making our land drops continuously. So we'll get Skull Clamp. Put that on Godo. Godo is a high likelihood of getting shot. And or having to like get into combat and block stuff and do all those kind of things. So there we go. Pass turn like that. See what opponents got. Board wipe would slow us down. It's not just over for them. There's plenty of things they could have that would really take the wind out of our sails. They were a little bit slow with lands, I felt like, through a good portion of the game. Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Authority of the Console is coming back to play because I'm an idiot. But yeah, they've done decently well on getting caught up with the lands. I felt like they were a little bit slow in the early game. Maybe they didn't ramp. It was just kind of like land per turn. But I think we're on relatively even footing mana-wise with them. I haven't counted. Let's see. That's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 versus our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 13 versus 15. One of ours is a Signet that we just got. There's a Verge Rangers coming in. It is a blocker. Information off the top is always helpful also. We do have more lands than them, so they can play a land if it is a land. Gonna recast the Daxos coming back. Yep. Yeah, they've got a lot of blockers. We still have Menace with the Iroas. I think that's going to be a big factor here. Untapping Samurais is like nothing. Yeah. Yeah, there's not many creature types are Samurais. Your best bet is probably some Changelings, but there aren't like too many Changelings that I find myself running. Got to be very, very specific kind of thing. Zombie apologizing for salt scooping. I get it. You're in a tough spot right there, and you're probably going to take lethal. I mean, I guess the door is going to survive, or the door didn't make it, which impacts the damage greatly. But I get that feeling of just like, oh, there's a lot on board, and I don't have enough to like keep up with what's happening. Definitely happens sometimes. Pridemate coming in. Thought of Telepathy. Is that the blue one that like steals their creatures? Is that the blue one that plays their spells? Authority's back. Yep, didn't get as much done. Yeah, probably should have just went all creatures. Oops. No helm in this deck. First time out with it, it's not like a high power deck at all at this moment. So it was just kind of like I wanted to test a lot of things. There's a lot of like subpar choices in the deck. Testing out the Zidle, wanted to see what it was all about. A bunch of other things. So yeah, I didn't feel like we needed to go Godel Helm. It was just really a way to like make sure we hit a Skull Clamp, make sure we hit a Feast and Famine. It's a human also. And if for some reason we have Vigilance, then it's a second combat spell for everything. Oh, Telepathy reveals opponent's hands? Yeah. Well, he's down to 1 card. Here comes a Knight of the White Orchid. Sword of the Animus will trigger. Yeah, oh, you know what it is? It's been the Sword of the Animus triggers. Probably getting them caught up. It will do that. 6 damage coming in our way. I think I'm just going to hold on to a Godo. I think that's where we want to be. 1 card in hand. Spot removal could be a thing. Swords, Path. If on the off chance they'd run Dawn Charm could be a card that could blow us out. Oh, they can also tap a creature with the Giant Killer. So maybe they tap Godo just to not deal with anything that could happen there. Opponent's up to 30. They can block 2 creatures. Door of Destinies is gone. Unfortunately, this one's legendary. It's not great. We may need to think about Vault of the Archangel also, just to make... Oh, we got the castle. We can get some power off the castle. So probably skip the Mirror March, go Adriana and Castle Embreth, I think is where I'm at. How much white devotion do we have? Or Iroa's devotion? We have 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll be 6 and 7, so Iroa's will be turned on. Excellent. Move the boots over to the Ajani Pridemate. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Herald's Horn. It's an Angel of Glory's Rise. Well, with the graveyards getting cycled, no longer going to need that. Opponent would need a board wipe, though seems unlikely. Seems unlikely in this situation. Play Adriana. I think I got to be really careful with our red mana. Yeah, let's do that over. Okay. Use Ancient Tomb. Use... Anything we need to strip mine? I don't think there's anything we need to strip mine yet. Use this castle. Use a red. Vanquisher's Banner, we'll draw a card. What up, APOC? What up, Art Master? Opponent's gonna tap the frontline medic. Interesting. Okay, okay. We draw... Ooh, Odric, huh? He needs to attack himself, right? Yeah, he'll come in tapped. I don't know that we need to play him before combat. Pridemate will get bigger off of the life gain on authority. And I think let's go to combat like that. Yeah, Iroas is a creature now. That's a pretty good source of damage. Opponent is at 31. That's kind of a lot of... It's a lot. It's a lot. Send everything. Oh, the lag. I clicked OK. I don't know what it's doing. Yep, okay, there it goes. Yep, don't want to do the double OK thing. Godo's going to trigger. Yep. And then melee will trigger a whole bunch of times. As bland as Adriana's ability is, like, melee is not the most exciting thing ever. It's actually still pretty powerful. Like, I don't give it enough credit, and I think many people don't give it enough credit. It's very good on its own, and if you put a second combat into the mix somewhere, it is very, very strong. Can't really decide what to build. Build a Jirina. Jirina is apparently really cool. I'm liking this deck a lot. So far, I'm liking it better than I think a lot of the Mardu decks that I've built. I think it's fun without being like soul-crushingly good. Sir Gwyn kind of has two modes of either you play Knights, and it's not the best, or you play Voltron, and you absolutely dominate a table and one-hit everyone, which is like great for some settings, but not great if you're just like trying to kick back with some buddies and like have a good time playing some Commander. It's like, oh, you're dead now, because here's like 60 Commander damage your way. So, yeah, I'm enjoying this Jirina build. You should check that out. Jorkadine is in fact in this deck because Jorkadine is awesome. Jorkadine lives in a very similar space to Adriana. At this moment, we do have Metalcraft. Probably need to work on the artifacts a little bit just to make sure you always have Metalcraft. But let's activate the Vault of the Archangel, and then I think we can like try and pass for a minute. Don't need that. Don't need... Not planning to need the strip mine. Haven't done the math, but I think this is enough. Godo will get a second attack, so like that could potentially get us there. Should it not be enough? Also, our stuff has Death Touch now, so like... Opponent shouldn't have any blockers for the second Godo pass. Sunforger is insane in Mardu. Yes, it is. You do get some really nice Sunforger options. Rakdos Charm is a card that I need to use more of. And what's the other one? Kaya's Guile, is that it? Those are both, like, you get a lot of options out of those two cards. Plus the fact, like, Anguished Unmaking Utter End is all good stuff. However, one little thing that I did notice, Anguished Unmaking Utter End do not hit lands, and if you need to blow up a Glacial Chasm or, like, coffers or something, you still want Chaos Warp and Generous Gift, so a lot of deck slots. A lot of deck slots that eats up doing that, but in general, yeah, Mardu Sunforger, really good. Oh, yeah, we had plenty of. So opponent goes down, -14. Jirina, pretty cool. Scales really well into the late game if you make all your land drops, and I like decks that reward you for making all your land drops. The Humans 2-0 thing is pretty sweet. Very mid-power, very casual to mid-power stuff from our opponents. No one got out to a crazy start, so there's that. But any of the team pump effects like Coat of Arms, what was the ones we saw? Door of Destiny and Cathar's Crusade, all really powerful with this deck. Enjoyed that quite a bit. Here's what the deck looks like right now. I will post a link, or I will post this up probably tomorrow when I actually repost the video if you want to take a peek at it. But again, this deck list still needs a lot of work. It's pretty removal light, so needs definitely more like artifact enchantment removal for sure. But anyway, I'm going to wrap the stream up here. I want to thank you guys for joining. I really do appreciate it. If you do like what I'm doing, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos. And yeah, thank you guys for joining, and I will see you guys soon.